welcome into this week's edition of the 3304 Kickoff Show. I'm Giovanni Heater coming to you from Syracuse, New York, and it's a very special week as not only is it the Commonwealth clash between Virginia Tech and the University of Virginia, but it's also Thanksgiving weekend, which means all of our students are dispersed across the country, bringing you the Kickoff Show from the comfort of their very own homes. Now, Virginia Tech and UVA renew their historic rivalry this weekend. Virginia coming into this game at 6-5 on the season after a really hot start at 6-2. They've dropped 3 in a row now by double digits to 3 teams that were all ranked in the college football playoff top 25. That's BYU, followed by Notre Dame, and then Pittsburgh last week in a battle for the ACC Coastal Division. But besides all that, one thing remains certain, and it's that Virginia has clinched bowl eligibility, picking up their 6th win of the season 4 weeks ago. So really the thing here is Virginia is trying to get that win over Virginia Tech in the big rivalry, get the Commonwealth Cup back to Charlottesville, and really get themselves in a situation where they can maybe make a more prominent bowl game. So for more information on the bowl scenario of the Cavaliers, we turn it over to our own Kyle Marchak.
Thanks, guys. In the Bronco Mendenhall era, the UVA Cavaliers have gone 36-37, living in a shroud of mediocrity in recent history. There's still a lot on the line this season, though. Standing at 6-5 thus far, they've lost contention for the ACC championship, as Pitt is comfortably in possession of the ACC Coastal Division. But a shot at a quality bowl game is still wide open. As I said, standing at 6-5 thus far, this game could be the difference between a quality Holiday Bowl or a lackluster Pinstripe Bowl. Last time around, Lane Stadium proved to have the advantage, and in December of 2020, obviously the Hokies pulled away. But this time around, 60,000 rowdy and ready fans at Scott Stadium could turn the tide on this rivalry. The Commonwealth Clash is looking to be a program definer Saturday afternoon. Guys?
Thanks, Kyle. Now, UVA has an absolute stud at the quarterback position in Brennan Armstrong, who's emerged as one of the best QBs in not only the ACC, but the entire country. And currently, statistically, he sits as one of the best quarterbacks to ever come out of the University of Virginia. How's this for a stat line for you? 4,044 yards, 30 touchdowns, and how's this for a ratio? Only 9 interceptions. He's playing some of the best football that the Cavaliers have ever seen. Now, the story on the other side for Virginia Tech is far from the same. Virginia Tech and Justin Fuente, 6th-year head coach, mutually parted ways on an $8.5 million buyout just a couple of weeks ago, having J.C. Price, former Hokies player, step in as the interim head coach. Braxton Burmeister has struggled to throw the football, the receiving game has struggled, and the running backs have struggled as well, as their offensive output has just not been what it was anticipated to be coming into this season. Now, Virginia is 1 win away from bowl eligibility, currently sitting at 5-6 on the season, with one last chance at getting that 6th win in Charlottesville against UVA on Saturday. So for more on the bowl eligibility situation of the Hokies and the loss last week to Miami in Coral Gables, we turn it over to our very own Sarah Luttenberger.
The quarterback question marks for Virginia Tech continue through this week as interim head coach J.C. Price is yet to announce who will be starting for this year's Commonwealth Clash. It came as somewhat of a shock to many that Connor BLUMRICK got as much time as he did in Miami over Braxton Burmeister, who had been the Hokies' #1 for the entire season. BLUMRICK had been out of commission ever since his knee injury against Notre Dame back in early October, but was ready to play this past weekend and took many of Burmeister's minutes. Without a clear reason, Burmeister spent a lot of time on the sideline last weekend, and the quarterback tension could take down the Hokies before the teams even step on the field. On one hand, Burmeister has a far superior passing game. He had an 82% completion percentage against the Hurricanes, compared to BLUMRICK's 45%. However, BLUMRICK had nearly triple the amount of rushing yards that Burmeister had in that same game. So, Price's decision on the quarterback could come down to trial and error as the game progresses, depending on how Virginia's defense approaches the matchup. Regardless, Virginia Tech's entire offense will be under the gun as they try to keep up with Brennan Armstrong and the Cavaliers.
Thanks, Sarah. Now, as we've said many times before today, this is the Commonwealth Clash. A giant land-grant state school and a private school up north. 2 in-state rivals going at it. Virginia Tech and UVA, one of the better rivalries in college football and one of the best in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Now, these two have been doing battle every single season since they first met in 1895. Virginia Tech leads the all-time series 59-38. Now, UVA had some really good teams back in the 80s and the 90s and started to kind of dominate that rivalry. After that, they went back and forth for a while. That really cemented this as one of the better rivalries in college football. And then in 2004, Virginia Tech absolutely blew up the landscape of the ACC Coastal and took over, winning 15 in a row from 2004 to 2019 before these two teams met in Charlottesville in 2019 in a battle for the ACC Coastal Division. UVA picked up their first victory in 15 years over the Hokies, and it was a huge win for their program as they cemented a date with Clemson in Charlotte for the ACC championship game. Now, few players have been around longer and for more Commonwealth clashes than Virginia Tech's TYRELL Smith, who entered this year as his 7th season as an offensive lineman for the Hokies. Now, like I said, this is his 7th Commonwealth clash coming up and his final regular season game wearing a maroon and orange Hokies jersey. So for a feature story on the story of TYRELL Smith, we turn it over to our very own Carter Hill.
Yeah, guys, the Commonwealth Clash will certainly be the focus on Saturday afternoon, but that shouldn't overshadow the fact that this could be 7th-year senior TYRELL Smith's final game as a Virginia Tech Hokie. Now, 7 years, how did he get to that point? Well, he redshirted in 2015. He took a medical redshirt in 2019, and he's using his extra year of COVID eligibility this season in 2021. Now, what has he seen in Blacksburg? Well, quite a bit. He's seen Frank Beamer's retirement. He's seen a Coastal Championship in 2016. He's seen losing the win-in season streak, the bowl streak, and the UVA streak in a span of 3 seasons. And now he's seen the changing of the guard from Justin Fuente to now interim head coach J.C. Price. Smith will lead Blacksburg as the longest tenured Hokie, but not only that, he'll leave with 3 degrees, a 3-time team captain, and he'll have made his mark on Blacksburg and the Virginia Tech football community.
Yeah, Carter, really interesting stuff there on TYRELL Smith. Well, that does it for this week's edition of the 3304 Kickoff Show. Virginia Tech and UVA do battle in the Commonwealth Clash. Kickoff at 3:45 from Charlottesville on the ACC Network. Our very own Andy Losi and Kevin DiDomenico will have the call for 3304 Sports. For our producer, Jake Lyman, for our reporters, Kyle Marchak and Sarah Luttenberger, and for our feature reporter, Carter Hill, I'm Giovanni Heater. So long from Syracuse, so long from the Moss Art Center in Blacksburg, Virginia, which is our normal home. Everybody enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend and happy holidays from 3304 Sports.